Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here with part 2 to our reaction review to Georgia Dow's Husk video. Husk's Tender Heart. If you guys haven't seen my other videos reacting to her content, basically she is a psychotherapist and she is going through the Hazbin Hotel characters and talking about their struggles, their issues, and trying to give us more insight into the characters. While I am not a professional at all, I have been through a lot of life experience, and I'm basically going to be giving you guys a different perspective, so you guys can also see how this relates to somebody just straight out of real life, not just a professional, as well as sharing some of my experiences that I've gone through in my life. So if you guys enjoy this content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, go check out part 1 if you haven't seen that and you're just stumbling on this video. The link to that will be down in the description. But enough from me. Let's jump in and continue the episode. As you guys see, we're literally continuing right from where we left off.
If I can ruin myself enough in the process, if I end up broken, I won't be his favorite toy anymore.
I said it in the last one, I'm saying it now. If you guys want me to talk about the Angel video, I will go through the Angel video again, because I have some stories for that response right there. But you gotta let me know down in the comments. Let us continue.
And maybe he'll let me go.
You see how when Husk hears this, his wings start to drop down? He's starting to get the gravity of the pain that Angel is in. He's feeling it. And so that kind of goes against, is Husk actually this non-empathetic, analytical, cynical person? Is he also emotional, but has used this protective mechanism to keep people from getting really close away from him? And so I would lean actually towards the latter, that there's a lot of people that are actually really warm and emotional, but they have a discomfort in sharing it, or they've been taught that they shouldn't, or it's not.
In my case, it was my trust issues. I didn't trust people to stick around. So it's like, why am I going to get close to you if you're just going to leave anyway? And that was a big stage of my life. That was most of my adult life, where I just, if we were friends, cool, I don't expect you to be here in a year. Even people I did eventually open up to, I still was just like, cool, I'm opening up to you. You're just going to leave once you see the way I really am. So it's like, even when I tried to open up, I still kept a lot of myself held back because of it.
You know, adults to be able to share your emotions, or by their family or people around them have been told that they're too emotional and to stop that, and that's not right. And so we kind of start cutting away of some of the best parts of pieces of us, and because of that it might be hard to be able to form these tight, cohesive, or close relationships. Those are being vulnerable, and being vulnerable to some people is being weak. And it's not. It's a strength, but it comes with all kinds of risks.
To a lot of people, actually.
Sometimes that's difficult to take those risks, because if you get hurt, it hurts so much more.
I was an overlord once, you know. And, it was nice to have that power. But when you're dealing in souls, while also being a gambler...
And I know I said this in the Angel video, but I'll say it again. In this case, Husk's self-disclosure is actually really effective as a tool, because he's showing Angel that he's also made mistakes, and that works out really well because he's being vulnerable with Angel and sharing things, and often we feel more comfortable.
Oh, this is a tough topic for me. I had a friend of mine who would self-harm, and they felt like nobody in the world could understand their pain. Well, when I was a teenager, I also used to self-harm. That's kind of where I was going. And to get my friend talking and to try and show them that they're not alone, I revealed some of my scars. And it worked after I had to let some of my feelings out, talk about my story, kind of like I'm doing now. But still, sometimes when you're vulnerable with somebody, it encourages them to drop their walls a little bit and show that they can also be vulnerable with you.
To share things with other people that have shared things with us. That's intimacy. Into me, I see. Allowing someone inside to the places where you've made mistakes. Allowing other people the risk to judge you. And for a lot of people, that can be exceptionally scary.
So I know what it's like to regret the choices made. And knowing you can't take it back.
And also, I love that Husk went to sit next to Angel and give Angel the space. Sometimes we will crowd someone when they're upset and kind of get too close to them. But Husk is sitting in a similar way to where Angel is, so Angel can directly look at him, and just giving the space that Angel can get closer or not closer to them. And often people that have gone through sexual trauma, it's nice to be able to give that space because that's safety. And so how close or not close that you sit to someone is really important. You don't want to crowd someone else. And so I think that Husk does a great job with that also.
You've lost your way. You think your life is wrecked. Well,
she distorts it so for copyright.
You're correct.
So I don't think that I would take this approach because I don't think that you should call yourself names. I don't think you should call other people's names. But what I do like about this song, because Angel has such a hard time to be able to actually accept who he is, I love that what Husk is saying is that it's okay. We can both be this. You don't have to fake that everything is amazing and you've made all of these decisions because you're worried about me rejecting you. Even with all of these horrible things that you've done and been through, I still accept you and I'm the same as you are. And that is really comforting. That's the way that we build bonds with other people, is by saying, I'm like you, we're not that different. And we feel more comfortable with people that are similar to us, because people that are like us, we assume wrongly that we can then interpret their behaviors more easily and they become part of our tribe.
The gruesome ways in which I'm damaged.
And that part of the song I think is really beautiful, because I think that a lot of us, especially when we're going through pain, believe that no one else can really understand us, that we feel all alone. And so it can be very comforting.
Hey, I said that too.
To know that there are other people that are going through this, other people that will accept us. And I love the words that Husk says in all of the gruesome ways that I'm damaged, because that's very similar to the way that Angel has spoken about himself.
But letting walls down, it can sometimes set you straight.
And the letting walls down, letting people in, that can be really, really scary, because often we have these walls as defense mechanisms, and we've gone through a lot of different traumas. We can have very strong defense mechanisms to keep people out, to keep us feeling safe, to keep us from not being hurt. But that also keeps people away from you, because even if someone likes you, in your mind you'd be like, but they like the mask. They don't really like me. It's those special.
That made me feel so called out. Oh god, I just did that in the tune of Loser Baby. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, that's kind of what I was going to before, where I always acted a certain way. You know, always tried to pretend to be positive, hide how upset I always was, so that way everybody would feel more comfortable around me, because I didn't want everybody to just up and leave.
Friendships when you can let down that mask and you can be at your worst, and you know and you feel that you'll still be accepted and cared for just as you are, flaws and all. That doesn't mean, though, that you should be traumatic or rude or disrespectful to people. You still want to treat people with kindness and respect. So that doesn't mean that if you're angry, you should throw a fit or hurt people or break things either. There's boundaries that you should maintain with other people. What I'm speaking about more is to be able to be genuine with who you are. And you also want to do that with people that you can trust.
And you think that makes you unique? Get out of here, man. We're both losers, baby, we're losers.
So we not only have Husk take Angel's hand, but to see Husk dancing is the cutest thing ever. You can see him changing the energy. And Emotions are contagious. So here Husk is showing joy and happiness.
A thing I liked about Loser Baby, you know, it's basically just talking about all the flaws that Husk and Angel have, and that it's okay to have those flaws. It reminds me of when I was growing up. Obviously, I grew up a nerd, you know, video games, anime. I was the weirdo. I was an outcast in high school, and I was very different from everybody else around me. And as I grew older, I discovered that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have your flaws. It's okay to not fit in and still be yourself. And that was a really, really big lesson for me to learn.
Happiness and allowing Angel to feed off of some of that. Now, that doesn't mean that if someone is really sad and depressed that you should be making jokes and dancing around them. What Husk did is Husk started from exactly where Angel was. He shared in Angel's sadness, in the feeling of isolation, of being alone, of being judged, and slowly went with Angel to a different emotion.
It's okay to be
So stop sucking.
maybe that's fine by me.
And I think that that's really beautiful. I don't think that I'll be able to play it, but I think that
Obviously.
when Angel speaks about some of the things that he feels would be most judged by, for Husk to be able to say, that's fine with me. I still accept you with all of these truths or all of these dark pieces that you have. The people that can do that, those are usually the ones that you want to keep closest to you. And at your darkest times, you won't feel worried to be able to reach out to them if you...
So I mentioned it again in the first video and a little bit here. The mask I wore, how I always tried to be, you know, Mr. Happy, Mr. Perfect, even at home. Like, I never felt like I could get upset because then I ended up fighting with my daughter. I felt like I could never be sad because then my fiance would worry about me. I always felt like I had to make sure the house was in proper order. I always felt like I had to be the one cooking dinner. Like, I had to do everything just to be, you know, perfect dad, perfect boyfriend. And I was miserable doing the same thing every day. And then going to a job where I was treated like ass. Unfortunately, I'm still at that job, but it is what it is. It wasn't, and then when I finally couldn't take it anymore, and everybody could just see how depressed I was, and I finally just let it all out. And my family, they supported me. My fiance kind of broke down because she didn't realize how much pain I was in. And she's done everything in her power ever since to make things easier and better for me. My son talks to me more about how he's feeling, and he checks in on me. Even my daughter, who's the hardest person to get along with sometimes, because she's kind of mean, but even she reminds me that she loves me. And it's just, I was so happy to be able to just be me and feel accepted, even if it's just at home. It's just a start to get me to really be able to be me again, and it's such a big deal. All right, let's continue.
That was something I didn't expect to see.
Like I said, you don't know me. Sex ain't the only thing I'm good at.
Good to know, because this guy ain't half bad.
You see the genuineness of that smile that Angel has when Husk says that. That compliment really felt something. And that Husk was able to notice a different side of Angel, to be able to see something than the persona that Angel usually projects. And I think that that's what really brings Husk and Angel close.
You and I both know Mimsy only shows up when she
fuck.
needs something. That is trouble. And who knows what kind of demon she with to come running to you this time.
It's nothing I can't handle. Don't worry, Husker.
So again, here's Husk going out of his way to be able to try to protect Alistair. So sometimes caring about someone when it's not the right person can end up being something detrimental to yourself or your emotions.
You've been gone a while, and it's not like anybody knows why.
They don't need to know. And don't you worry your fuzzy head about it.
That's one of Husk's triggers. Whenever
Yeah.
he's demeaned or treated like a pet or reminded that he's this fuzzy little cat, when people are talked down to, that can often be a trigger, that we're not being respected. And remember that Husk also at one point was this huge overlord. And so then to have this loss of respect can be even more painful. Everyone should be treated with dignity and respect, no matter what their age, no matter what their position, no matter what their job, no matter how much money they make.
You may own my soul, but I ain't your pet.
But you are.
Big talk for someone who's also on a leash.
And that's that Husk is so used to just sharing things and saying things. Sometimes you want that upper brain mediation.
So this is actually a skill that I've had to learn, and it was a little bit tough to be able to do it. But basically, I got into another habit of, I know it sounds simple, but thinking before I talk, especially when I'm upset. I've had family members call me cold because I don't let myself have full-blown emotional responses. If somebody says something that really gets me going, I'll stop. I'll think myself through it, and I'll respond in a more suitable fashion. But it gives off the illusion that I don't care. That, like, some people believe if you don't get emotional or angry, then you just don't give a shit. But that's not it. I just usually think to myself it's not worth it to get angry and to respond a certain way, when in reality that's not how I feel. It's just me talking out of anger. And that's kind of what Husk did here, where he wanted to defend himself, so he attacked Alistair, and you guys know how Alistair responded.
Of thinking before you say something,
Hey,
and understanding
look at that.
how far you can take a relationship that you have with someone. And in this case with Alistair, it's one step or many steps way too far.
What did you say?
Nothing,
If you ever say that again, I will tear your soul apart.
Understood?
Lovely.
And if you've been bullied or mistreated as a child, often everything in you is that I'm never going to let someone treat me like that again. And everything that you do is to make yourself the opposite of the things that you saw yourself as that allowed yourself to be hurt.
Called out.
So a lot of times when you see someone that's big and tough, it's because that they've actually gone through some hurt or trauma of themselves, because they might have been smaller or weaker, and because of that they were hurt or mistreated. And so sometimes our defense mechanism is the exact opposite of the hurts that we went through.
Take one of these, and you won't be worrying about nothing.
Here we go.
Look, the drunk sobered up long enough to judge us.
Look, you want to fuck up all your progress? Be my guest. I just thought you were better than that.
Ouch. Now, you could say, yes, Husk is being judgmental. But Husk isn't judgmental to people that Husk doesn't care about. Once Husk cares about someone, he expects something from them. He wants them to be better because they matter to him. And I think that that's one of the beautiful parts to Husk. I think that sometimes that can be difficult, to have someone that wants more from you, that can see who you can be, because sometimes we may not live up to that. And I think that in that way, Husk kind of plays as people's conscience, so that voice of reason, even when you don't want to hear it.
Look who decided to show up. We thought we were fighting by ourselves.
It's just so cute to see them all working together as a team. And when Angel hugs Husk in, which you could see before that he just kind of gruff and tries to stay off to the side and not be a part of it, you can tell that now Husk has this really genuine smile, that he accepts this warmth from Angel and feels good about it. Husk really feels a part of this group. This is now his group. I
mean, everybody's felt this part, but like when you finally find your crew, when you finally find that group of people, whether it be people in your family or like friends that it feels right to be with them. I have a few friends like that where like we could just hang out and bullshit and like have not a worry in the world, and I just feel like I belong. Or in the case of my family, I told you guys how, especially now, after certain events, how I feel about my family.
Is now his family.
Last day of Afterlife, and you're not off snorting a line off some hunk's abs?
One cannibal pool boy, you f***ed them all.
I guess you have changed.
That confirmation that Angel's become someone different from Husk is like the best confirmation ever. It's so lovely when you've worked at becoming better. and so painful when people don't see the changes that you've made. But for Husk's to be able to not only see it, but to acknowledge it, and in a very direct, concrete way, you can see Angel's face that that was really meaningful to him, really heartwarming and confirming. And sometimes we need that. To be able to confirm who we are, we need someone else to be able to remind us and notice it, which makes us feel really good. And that actually also solidifies behavior. It increases our chances that we will keep to a new behavior when other people notice it.
Blue lights across the marquee.
I love at the end, here we have Husk, like the difference from him being so gruff at the beginning, but here he's singing happily, but his little wings are fluttering at the same time. Like such joy in him from being a part of something that's greater than himself. This new group of misfits that he is taken in by, that accept him and that care about him. And so I really love the amount of joy and happiness that you would have never expected from Husk at the beginning. And so sometimes those people that seem to have this gruff outer coating are actually the warmest and most comforting and the most protective when they let you in, or you let them in. Either or.
All right, guys, that was the end. After that, she kind of goes into her sponsors and whatnot, which, of course, if you guys watch the video, you'll see which sponsor she has. But yeah, that's it for Husk. He is a tough cookie, but obviously it's a defense mechanism. He's been through a million horrible things and back, just like a lot of the other characters in Hazbin Hotel. And I hope you guys enjoyed hearing, some of my stories. One of the big reasons I decided to do these videos is because it really hit me. A lot of times when it comes to professionals, people are like, they don't know what they're talking about, or, what they're talking about doesn't apply to me. The reason I wanted to do this is to show how some of this stuff can just affect a normal dude. I'm just a normal guy, and even I have experiences that align with some of the stuff that she says. A lot of it, actually. And I just want to show you guys that, it can help you too. I kind of sort of started therapy. That's another story for another time. But it's helped me a lot. But let me know what you guys think of the video down in the comments. If you guys want to check out the original video without my pause, without my commentary, link to the original will be down in the description. Of course, support Georgia Dow. We love her content. She's amazing and she's very insightful. And if you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will also be down below. That's it from me. Catch you guys on this video. Later.